Madu, and he's talking about some of the current political and economic situations and conditions on the continent of Africa. And Dr. Madu, as I might say, that the things are really looking good and looking up for Africa, especially when we think about the Africa that we've talked about on this show over the last 8 or 10 years. And so let's talk about some of the economies and some of the other things that you think are important.
Well, like I've said, the economies are improving. And because the economies are improving, one might ask, what's the reason? You know, why has it been so backwards previously? One of the reasons is because of the process of democratization. You know, the winds of change are blowing in Africa now. Before, prior to this time, most elections in Africa are won by the presidents with 99.9%, as if nobody hates them in the whole country. I remember a long time ago, Houphouët-Boigny in the Ivory Coast. Yeah, he won an election with 99.9%. So when they announced it on the radio, he wasn't satisfied. He said, no, they should change it to 100%. So nobody has any idea that somebody hates Houphouët-Boigny in the Ivory Coast. Okay. So most of them were winning 99.9% and nobody said anything. Now it has changed. You know, even though we still have people who manipulate the elections, but still there are some, you know, elements that make sure that those elections are not thoroughly rigged. This year there has been about 8, 9 elections in Africa as a whole. Previously, before, you hardly had any, because the whole country was governed by the military.
Just the fact of having an election means something.
It means a whole lot, because it gives people the power to decide who governs them, not by somebody who shot themselves into power by the barrel of the gun. In Rwanda, you know, they had an election this year which returned President Kagame to power. However, the election was not considered fair, free and fair. The main opposition leader, Ms. Agnes Ngabare, who came in to run, was detained and not allowed to run against Kagame. The main reason really is that she is Hutu. Now, in Rwanda, Hutus are still the predominant population. They are about 85% of the population. Kagame is Tutsi. So if he had allowed a Hutu to run, he would have lost in any fair, free and fair election, because majority of the Hutus would have voted for the Hutu, you know, candidate. In most places in Africa, people vote, you know, with their tribes, if necessary. So generally, Kagame would have lost, and he didn't want that to happen. So he won anyway, you know, in the election. In Burundi, you have President Nkurunziza, who was running for another term of office. All his opponents withdrew, you know, so he ran by himself because they were scared that they would be killed, and they were intimidated.